International Mother Language Day, celebrated annually on the 21st of February. The worldwide annual commemoration, it's set aside to really promote awareness of cultural diversity and advance multilingualism. Now, marking its 26th anniversary, UNESCO reiterates its commitment to preservation, protection of all languages. And so this morning, we're in fact going to be in conversation with Professor Dumisani Sibiya, Head of Department of African Languages at the University of Johannesburg, perhaps on the importance of knowing our mother tongues. On that note, Prof. Dumisani, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Morning, and morning to viewers at home.
It's so important for future generations to understand this collective memory and identity. And so when we observe the significance of this day, take us back. Talk to us about what role it plays in the greater scheme of our society and preservation at large.
Yes, I think one can really not overemphasize the significance of this International Mother Language Day.
Yeah.
When you look in history and how when it was proclaimed in 1999, one can not help but observe that it's partly our history. Although it was based on the protest that occurred in Bangladesh in 1952, when there was a massive killings of people who were protesting against the introduction or the imposition of Urdu as a state language, which is something that is similar to what happened in South Africa in 1976 when there was an imposition of Afrikaans and at the expense of other languages, particularly the indigenous languages. So it's very important in terms of the history. But also, it's the way UNESCO, when they proclaimed it's more like it's reminding us that languages are not just tools for communication, but also vehicles for cultural, intellectual, and historical heritage.
Yes.
Yes.
And so if we fast forward to the role it plays in our society today, so there's linguistic development, which also social development. And we're obviously looking at the metrics we use to grade our students, especially the young ones, and the learning abilities and disabilities that come with not learning in your mother tongue. So we're obviously seeing this playing out in real time. Expand a little bit more about the ripple effects.
Yes, research demonstrates that a mother tongue-based education is the way to go. It helps a lot in terms of achieving the right outcomes, and it supports cognitive development, especially with the young ones at the early grades. It is emphasized that we use mother tongue-based multilingual education, which better the understanding of the learners, and I think it also even at higher education level. At the moment, we have this drive towards having the intellectualization of the indigenous languages. Yes. So it all comes together as part of the recognition of mother tongue.
Because it's about dispelling the negative associations or narratives around the use of mother tongue, but accessibility, right? Even just having resources available, and then affordability as well from all levels. The strains on that front that we're experiencing as well.
Yes, I think that what you're saying is very true. I always think about a number of people who have actually not had their president speaking to them because they cannot access the language that is predominantly used in politics, in economy, and other sectors, and education. That barrier, it's a sad one, because if we look at the fact that people don't have sufficient access to the language, and how many people get a chance to go to the university? It's only a selected percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even our oral traditions, the ability to tell stories as well, our own stories that add to the global story of the world, that the world is looking for, encouraging modes or people on that front to delve in further, perhaps also preserve and archive our history. How do you think we're faring on that front? In our own indigenous languages as well?
So I think when it comes to that, I'm talking particularly from the publishing perspective. I don't think we are doing as well as we should do. Okay. We, for instance, with the children's books, most of the children's books that we have currently are actually translations from English. There is no production in the indigenous languages, and we need to work harder as writers, as researchers on that front, just to make sure that our stories are told using the original language instead of the translation. Not that I'm against any translation, but we need to recognize that our language can express our identity. They can express, they can tell stories, good stories,
yes.
And we just need to embrace that instead of.
And you know, Prof, why I'm asking that, because we're obviously not in an AI digital era. There's an ecosystem that needs this type of information and modes of instruction to be developed. And so if we don't keep up with that rate of change and that pace, I mean, we can obviously also foresee problems down the line, yet again, with this digital world as well. So that correlation as well, how do we begin to assert our agency in that domain?
Yeah, our world is changing and drastically, so we really need to keep up with that. And I'm glad that the organizations such as SADILA are doing a lot on that front, and we need to work harder. I think at the moment we are not doing as well as we should. We are working, for instance, at my institution, which is the University of Johannesburg. We are developing some terminologies that we need on that front. We will be embarking on some of the useful projects on the digital front, wherein we try to emphasize and make sure that we have a footing as well in terms of our languages on the digital platforms.
Sure. Well, the work has to continue, and it has to be done well with all of us in mind. So as we observe this day, we look at the strides that have been taken, but also whose shoulders we stand on, and really wait it from you as we navigate the future. Prof, let's leave our conversation there for now. Thank you for your time at this hour, for joining us bright and early as we observe International Mother Language Day. The day really just to celebrate, promote, protect all languages of the world. And we were just in conversation, Professor Dumisani Sibiya, Head of Department for African Languages at the University of Johannesburg.